Oh, you already did it.
That's fun. It's fun to do it that way. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Spiritual Q&A with Shayne and Tiffany. I am Shayne with Terrestrial Vibes, and over here next to me, look, I pointed the right way this time,
You
is
did.
Tiffany from Modern Mystic. Hello, Tiffany. How are you doing tonight?
Doing okay. I'm tired. After that new moon, I am beat. I understand kind of everybody's feeling the fatigue though, so it's not just me. So kind of a collective thing. But it's a Friday night and I'm here with you, so it makes the day and the evening much better.
That's good. I'm just going to click. One of our things didn't go here, so I'm just going to save this, I guess. It's not posting to your group. I don't know why. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I see you guys piling into the show here in the chat room. If you guys are joining us from one of the groups that this is shared to, you are going to have to give StreamYard permission for your name to be seen. So there is a link that pops up. Click the little link and give them permission for your name. Way around this is to just head to either Terrestrial Vibes or Modern Mystic on Facebook, our Facebook pages, and your name will show up regardless that. Anyways, we already have questions.
I see that.
Sharing is caring, so if I could implore everybody who does join us this evening to share this out on your pages, in your favorite spiritual groups, that sort of thing. It helps us reach more people, helps more people learn about spirituality and have spiritual questions get answered. So that's the whole point of the show, and I should mention that that's how this show works. You guys ask the questions and we answer the questions in the best way we can. Between the two of us, we have years and years and years and years worth of spiritual practice, and from everything on my side of things, I'll just go over a little bit. I've been meditating for over 20 years now, teaching Qigong for 6 years now. 6 years I've been teaching Qigong, teaching meditations on YouTube, teaching in real life, actually, as a 3D teacher as well, not just a spiritual teacher, and learning spiritual modalities such as Reiki and Pranic Healing and other things like that, and has led me to become sort of an exorcist and deal with sort of the dark side of things with regards to spirituality. And then we have Tiffany over here, who's busy sharing it out, looks like, right now. And Tiffany's going to tell us a little bit about herself as well. I'll answer the first question while you're sharing that out. How was Halloween? I don't actually go out and do much for Halloween. The spiritual veil is thin on Halloween, so I tend to be a little bit of a homebody and stay in, and there's a lot of usually spiritual stuff for me to do around the Halloween. Speaking of the Halloween season, yeah. And just happens to be new moon, yesterday?
Yeah.
This morning? I don't know, somewhere. So yeah. So
And we
lots of activity lately, right?
And a little bit about me, like Shayne, I'm originally a teacher as well. I taught middle school theater for 12 years. And along that path, I ended up going through what is considered like a big awakening. And during that time, I found myself my first mentor to work with, and I started studying Reiki. So I'm a board certified Reiki master and teacher in a lot of the different disciplines in Reiki. I also am an empath. I was born an empath, and a clairvoyant as well, where I could see auras as a kid. And a lot of that came back whenever I went through my big awakening. And it took me on this path to be here with y'all. And I get development classes. I teach and certify in Reiki. I do oracle and tarot card readings, pendulum, you kind of name it, mediumship. And it all, helps to put me on this path of reaching out to others. And here I am helping to teach best I can for all of us to grow together. I had a tough one with that one. Like much
Da,
more
da,
like
da.
good with it. I think it's like my brain is tired. My Halloween was pretty good. Kind of like Shayne, I stayed low. So it was one of those things. The veil is much thinner. We do have an eclipse coming up. There's a lot of activity going on out there in the spirit
Mm-hmm.
world. So
Yeah.
I stayed low. I stayed home and I chilled out and kind of kept to myself on Halloween versus my normal type of Samhain type of activities that I usually do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got Wayne. Oh, wow. We have a lot of questions. You were not kidding.
Yeah, people are excited. We haven't been on for a couple weeks. We skipped last week, and we are back this week. I'm still sharing it out. I could implore everybody to keep sharing it out. Let's get a lot of people here. Let's have a bunch of people learning with us tonight, right? So, if you do have a spiritual question, I implore you to type it out. We do try to get to everybody's questions, so just type it out in the chat. We see all the questions, and we will get to you right away. First question, we have to scroll back to the very, very beginning, actually,
I've got
because
it. I know how to answer this one.
you already have an
That's
answer. Then you go ahead. I'm still sharing. I'm still trying to share this out.
okay. Lynette has a great question on here, and Lynette is amazing. So, hi, Lynette. And when she says she has no issues surrounding other people in white light, she can even see herself go to them and place that shield around them, which is a type of remote viewing or astral traveling. For the light person cannot envision that light around her. Any thoughts? I kind of experience that too because I can see the light that I place around other people, but sometimes I have the hardest time seeing it around myself. And it's because we're looking through the light that we share, is kind of the way I understood it. So, like, our shield is around us, and we're seeing it from the inside versus seeing it from the outside whenever we're shielding other people. So, you're seeing it from our first person perspective rather than if you wanted to, you could astral and or even remote view and step outside of your own self and look at yourself from the outside looking in, and you may be able to see it. It's just that when you are inside of it, we can't envision it the same way as we can whenever we're seeing other people.
Yeah, so like a point of view, a perspective change, right? And that'll change the way you see the light.
And also try meditating on it. Sometimes I can't necessarily feel the shield or see the shield around me, but I can feel it. And so I'll check by that as well. Being an empath, a lot of times we go by feelings and we're very, very sensitive to energy. And so you can also play around with different colors. White light, platinum light is one of the highest frequencies, but there's also some other frequencies as well. And you can kind of play around with shielding in different colors, like a golden ray, or shielding in like a violet flame if you're trying to transmute something. And kind of play with different colors, you might be able to see those as well. And that make it easier to see it around yourself that way.
I could add to this and say possibly as well while you're in meditation, when you take that time each day, talk to your guides, your spiritual helpers, your angels, whatever you connect with, and ask them for upgrades, ask them for help in seeing the light or help in whatever you're having a problem with spiritually, because they will definitely help you, right? Sometimes it's a free will thing. Sometimes we need to ask for the help, otherwise we won't get it, right? So recognizing that as well, I think would help in that situation too.
That would be a good one. Good point. Let's see. We have Teresa, Courtney. Hi, everybody.
Hello, Courtney.
Oh, let us know where you're from.
Oh, yeah, we'd love to hear where everybody comes from. While I talk over Tiffany.
It's okay.
Hello, Celeste. Hello, Wayne. Hello, Caitlin. Welcome back. Hello, Pamela, Audrey, Marsh, and Rachel. I see Rachel's here.
Yay!
Welcome, everybody. And Sunday's here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Wow, we got a few to catch up on this reading here. We've got a little bit of a novel here already.
Thank you, Wayne. Wayne has been sharing some amazing stuff in the group Modern Mystic as well. Thank you.
Awesome.
Oh,
Awesome.
Courtney, same. The last few days have just been totally get you.
Speaking of, yeah, Wayne was just saying, are you feeling these powerful energies with the 111 gate coming up and the eclipse portal and the new moon and the Halloween and all this stuff and the CMEs? That's been quite a thing lately. Is the sun has been putting out a lot of energy for us. So there's been like 3 or 4 of them lately, and the Schumann resonance is off the chart. So there's a lot of energies, a lot of shifts coming, a lot of stuff happening in spiritual land for us in this 5D shift we're going through. And I could just touch on that and say that, like a lot of shadow is coming up. We're seeing a lot of our shadows come through. We're getting, so if you're getting, angry, or if you're getting frustrated and things like that are coming out, and sadness and things are coming up randomly, that's why we're transmuting a lot of the old shadow stuff that has even through past lives and things like that followed us along, and we are now ascending higher. So we have to get rid of that lower vibrational stuff. And that's why I think a lot of us are feeling a little tired. I know we were just talking about that before we started. We're both feeling a little tired tonight. Everybody's at the house is feeling tired. There's lots going on, right? Lots going on.
There's a lot of muck that we're all clearing up when it comes to emotions and energetics, that so many of us are clearing out, like Shayne said, those shadows. And we're also doing an integration. So we're integrating a lot of the different aspects of ourselves that are rising to the surface.
Yeah. Tiffany, your sound is a little crunchy. It's a little bit goofy. I don't know what is going on with that. Do you have a headphone? Oh no, your dog ate the headphone.
My dog ate the headphone, seriously. like no joke. How's that?
Turn me down a little bit, if you can. And I think that'll help.
I can't. Oh yeah, I can. Uh-oh.
Oh no. Oh, there you are. Okay. You're back. You froze for a second. I'm going to answer this one. Marsh is asking, hey, can I have a tarot reading? You certainly can, just not live on the show right now. You can certainly book with Tiffany. She does some amazing tarot readings. And she does go live sometimes on her own for tarot as well. So some of you might be used to that. But tonight we are just answering spiritual questions. And I say that just answering, but we are answering spiritual questions for learning purposes and not for personal purposes, I guess.
From my Modern Mystic page, and if I can get my energy back up, I want to go live sometime this weekend. So look out for that.
Yeah. So head over to. Oh yeah, I didn't start the banner. We have the banner here, right? There we go. Head over to the link trees for both either Modern Mystic and Terrestrial Vibes to find all of our links for everything. And yeah, you can find everything from my YouTube to Tiffany's TikTok to everything there, right? So and how to book in with us as well. So if you were looking to book in for a tarot reading with Tiffany, or a Reiki healing with Tiffany, or a exorcism / energy clearing with myself, all that stuff is there in the link trees. And yeah, let's find the next question, I think.
Yeah, and for me, they'll just have to message me for now because Facebook is not showing my services.
Oh, Facebook.
So.
Yes, we got your question, Lynette. I hope you saw it.
Oh yeah, we did answer you already. Yeah. It's at the very beginning, the one about shielding.
Yeah. Courtney says somebody threw candy in front of her, and it was like random. So she was wondering if we could feel that. I don't know. Like a ghost candy?
It's ancestor. No, it was actually
ancestral candy.
It was ancestor. So it's on her altar for like Halloween, her ancestor altar. And I'm really getting a feeling that it's one of your ancestors. So just kind of tune into that energy and see maybe which one it was. She already has an idea.
Yeah, yeah. I bet you do as soon as you say that. Oh, it's one of your answers. Oh, it's my grandma so and so or whoever, right? That's common too, right? I heard that there are a lot of solar flares happening. Do they affect you? And if so, how? Yes. And don't ask me how, but they do. No. You mean, do you want to ask how they do it scientifically, or are you asking how they affect me personally? Because usually they make me pretty tired. Also, there's like waves. It's almost like I get really excited, and then I get really tired, and then I get really excited, and then I get really tired. Kind of like
Roller coaster.
roller coaster of sun's energy.
For so many of us, it affects the Schumann resonance along with the electromagnetic sphere of Earth herself. And so, whenever these solar systems are coming in, usually the higher the I don't know, they call them G1, G2, and G3. So, like, we just had a G3 come in, and we're expecting another one over this weekend. And whenever those come in, it affects the Earth, the Schumann resonance resonates at. We all resonate usually at like a 7.8 hertz. It was shooting up to like 8 point something, 9 point something, even getting up into the 10s. So whenever the Earth is responding to that, we're responding as well because we acclimate to the Earth's own heartbeat. So it does affect us. We can get dizziness, we can get nausea, we can get sort of fatigue, out of body. It can feel just like you are just tired. And then other you can have the highs and the lows. So you can get kind of like that jittery, anxious feeling. Anxiety comes up a lot. Or it could be just, acclimating to it, where we all are kind of going on this ascension path together and we're all acclimating to the shift in the Earth.
Could be
That's
both.
where storm activity too. The more there are, the more storms there are.
Do you want to try leaving and coming back to see if it'll fix your sound?
I'll try it.
See if
I'll be right back.
I'll hold the show down. I'll find the next thing. Thank you all for joining, by the way, and hello, all you people from Wisconsin. Looks like there's a couple. I see Maggie's from Wisconsin. Audrey's from Wisconsin. Hello, everybody from Wisconsin. Hello from Memphis. Courtney's from Memphis. Hello, Lisa. Good to see you as well. Welcome, everybody. Tiffany's sound is wonky. We're trying to fix it. Too much energy. Yeah, it could be. I put up extra spells, not extra spells, but like extra protection around us tonight because of some of the energies that have been going on. We wanted to be sure. So maybe that's happening. Who knows? Say hello again.
Hi.
I don't know. Is that better?
I don't know. Can you hear me better?
I don't hear the echo of me anymore. So that's probably better.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's better. I think it's better.
Good. Y'all let me know if I need to go get my I have some like wireless earbuds. I can go grab those if I need to.
Dun dun dun. All right. So Lynette has another question actually. And this is for me. When you do a clearing, which is amazing, and she recommends. Thank you, Lynette. Can you feel what you're clearing? Do you continue until it's clear? How does that work? So when I'm doing it, of course, I'm in kind of a meditative state, and I'm following kind of the guidance of, how I feel or how spirit is kind of pushing me along, and what's happening is I feel where there's, darkness or there's, a lack of love, and I move into those areas and I can take that stuff out. So for me, I don't really get a story involved. Like Tiffany might feel something and she's more empathic. She's going to feel it or see it and see what's attached and see what's going on there, or have even an inkling of, hey, this is like, a connection to your grandfather or whatever happens to be, right? Whereas I always go and see that this is harmful or toxic to your energetic system, and I will just remove it based on more of a scientific kind of energetic feel of it, going, okay, this is not supposed to be here. This energy is supposed to be clear. Like there's not supposed to be this dark energy here. So we take that dark energy out. I don't usually get the story behind it, right? So for me, that's how it works. I kind of, and I can go right into tiny little, nodes of black that's been condensed for years and years and years and years and years, like in the back of your, you know, liver or something like that, right? And get that energy out as well. Or I can even take, big energies that are attached to your aura off, or whatever it happens to be. It doesn't matter to me, and it's basically the same. And people say, well, what did you see, what did you get, how many things did you take off? Well, I don't know, I did it for half an hour, and I probably took off anything from 1 to 200 things. It depends on the person, and it honestly is hard for me to go back after, because I'm not in the meditative state anymore, to go back after and answer those questions. And I do get them quite often. It's one of those ones that I kind of struggle with. And I go, okay, well, you got anything for me, Spirit, right now that I can say? And I get a message for them maybe a little bit later, right? But usually in the moment, while I'm doing the actual work and I'm doing the actual clearing, I'm not getting messages like, hey, this is so and so's, tie to whatever contract from when they were a gypsy, or this is so, like there's thousands and millions of stories out there and lives that we've all lived, and there's all these kinds of things that could be attached and brought with us from different lives. So could be anything, right? And people are always curious, and I always say curiosity killed the cat, right? Like, it's just, sometimes it reinvites that darkness back into our lives because we're curious about it, right? So that's one of the things I think, if I could impart from the story end of it, right? Whereas sometimes you need that to heal, where I would throw it over to Tiffany and I would say, get a tarot reading from Tiffany, or go see a medium, or somebody who can
Or I could do
connect,
Reiki.
right? Right, where that way, then you get the reasoning behind things, and then you can release from an emotional standpoint, or from an understanding standpoint, you can release the energies that way as well. So there's many ways to heal, and I think my one way of doing it serves a certain purpose, and I think there's other people's, like say Tiffany or anybody else who does Reiki, things like that, they also serve a purpose as well.
Absolutely. Like for Reiki, it's more of like specific things that, the Reiki is removing. And if we're seeing remotely or seeing astrally, we can see it with our clairvoyant mind. But like with Shayne, his is very much like for the highest good type of benefit. So it's like his team goes in and removes anything that's not for that highest good. And then if it keeps coming back, well, then that may be where we might need to revisit, like, okay, what specific is coming back and what would be the cause?
Yeah, and that's the thing. If it's coming back, usually that's because it's invited back in. And it may not be a conscious thing. I'm not saying it's everybody's fault, but it is everybody's fault. You know what I mean? But it is not everybody's fault consciously. And yeah, so you could be, if something is coming back and you're like, okay, Shayne cleared me and it's back, whatever's coming back. There's usually some healing that needs to happen. There's usually some trauma or some emotion that needs to be released, because that's where that rift is in your shielding. And I was talking to somebody about this not too long ago, because we were talking about shielding, and I said, whenever you allow something through your shielding, that kind of hole is there, right? So even though I come and clear it out, as soon as you go, oh yeah, but I'm grumbling about so and so again, that hole just opens right back up, right? So you have to heal that kind of mental or emotional attachment to whatever it is. All right.
And,
Anything?
some people and some things do send things intentionally.
Yeah.
And, with stuff like that, those kind of have a different feel, a different vibe, a different look to them.
And they usually don't reattach once they're removed, because
No.
when we remove, say, things with intention like that, with malicious intent, things like that, from a witchy standpoint, right?
Hi.
There's certain laws that are in effect, and things like that, like threefold laws, or just basic, like basic mirroring, or things like that from a witchy standpoint. From a love standpoint, if something's coming at us and we send love back, there's really not much they can fight against with with the love coming at them, right? So if we're sending love energy and we're sending, we've protected ourselves and we've done our shielding, we've protected, we've cleared everything. Now we send love back to the person who's sending us the malicious intent, because that changes that end of it, and it doesn't allow that reattachment, right?
So it kind of
If we,
neutralizes.
yeah, if we go back and we start saying, well, back at you, or like eye for an eye kind of stuff, then that doesn't allow that energy to change on their side, and it continues to come at you, and you keep allowing it in because you've engaged. Now it's reciprocal. The cord is going both ways, right? So we want to make sure our cords that are coming are always going out one way, which is love, right? Or we're receiving love one way, right? And people always wonder too, and I'm just going to touch on this because the question always comes up, is when I remove cords, how do I know which ones to remove and which ones to leave? And this is almost automatic. I don't actually have to worry about that, because when I clear, I'm clearing with the intention of only clearing anything that is not of the highest good. So cords from your loved ones to your children, to family, that sort of thing, with love intention and all that sort of thing, are going to remain there no matter what. I'm not going to be able to pull them off. And even if I could pull them off, they're just going to reattach right away, because love is so strong that it's not going to let me, right? So that stuff is always, I just always get that question. I figured I answer that as well.
Yeah, that's a good question. Absolutely.
All right. Next one I think is right below here. From Wayne. Wayne says he's gifted. I'm able to see, hear, feel spirits. I do readings, but not very often. I mainly help connect people with loved ones. So you're more of a medium.
Yes.
I'm hiding below the. But lately I've been feeling blocked and I can't seem to ground myself. Any tips?
For
I was
me?
letting you go. I was letting you go first.
Okay, I was waiting for you. If he's feeling ungrounded, salt bath. Seriously, take a salt bath and make sure you're taking time for yourself, spending time in nature. I know some of us are a little bit more blocked when it comes to the veil right now, because our team is protecting us, because that veil is very thin. So it may also be part of your team that works with you on the spirit side. They're also protecting you because the veil's thin and they don't want anything to come through that is not for the highest good. So that could also be why you're blocked. So kind of feel into that, check into it. You know your energy, you know how your gifts work. So check into feeling why you are blocked. Are you blocked more as a protection thing right now during all of this crazy energy? Or is it more of like a subconscious block? Could it be that you're ready to up level? Sometimes whenever we get blocked, it's because we've got to work through that block to help us to go to that next level in our gifts.
Yeah. So usually there's either something, like we were just mentioning, that you have to release, some sort of trauma or emotion you have to get over, something from, even a belief system, sometimes will block us energetically as well. So as far as grounding...
With spirits, I've got a few blocks still from childhood trauma stuff. I could see, hear, feel, know as a kid. And I had some issues with some not so nice spirits as a kid, and some night terrors that occurred. And so my clairaudience, my hearing, sometimes will come in and out, and I hear more in my mind's ear rather than external. So maybe check into that as well. Maybe there's something that's come up that is just kind of lodged in your energetic system that you need to clear.
That's interesting. It's too bad you didn't have me around when you were younger, because we could clear all those spirits. And I do actually help quite a few children that way. And
absolutely
really good results on nightmares, night terrors, sleeping through the night, that sort of thing. And with that creepy guy they talk about through the window. So I've dealt with quite a bit of that, and it does happen. And
it does.
If you don't ignore your children, just book a 3-night healing, or message me and I'll help. Just don't ignore them.
Yeah, kiddos need our protection instead of, like mom or dad, like, oh, that's your imagination, or oh, that's da 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 da, and it's our imaginary friend, or oh, that, gotta kind of listen to your kid, just, yeah, some could be imagination, but then some definitely is not. And if they're having night terrors, that's a sign.
Yeah. Yeah. Night terrors always assign nightmares.
Mhm.
I mean, most kids don't have large traumas that give them nightmares. I mean, most don't. Usually, if they're having nightmares, it's because something's affecting them
That is true.
externally. Either externally meaning other people's energy, other real people's energy, or other
Spirit.
spiritual beings' energy. So either or. So, and one of the ways to get rid of that is we just clear it. We just clear it with love. Right. Next one is a really long question, but I'm going to
I know.
summarize it.
Yeah.
I'm going to summarize it. I already read it. So, basically, something happened like 10 years apart, 10 years to the day almost, like almost to the date, right? Like, is there a significance in timing, or are we reading into it too much if we start to say there's more than just coincidence there? And I'm just kind of paraphrasing that giant, because it'll cover, if I click it, it's just going to cover our whole face.
It's gonna cover.
But you can read it in the chat anyways. So to me, for me, sometimes timing is definitely a big part of it for sure. What does that mean in this particular case? I'm not sure. I don't know what it would mean to you, but if something was like that was happening for me, it would take, I would pause and I would consider, why, or I would try to find out why. I've always been one of those people that kind of goes, okay, why did I meet this person? Why am I here in this situation now? Like, because that's what it is. It's like, what am I supposed to learn? Why am I here? What is the experience that I'm supposed to have, right?
What is this teaching me?
Yeah.
What am I
What is
supposed
this
to
teaching?
know?
Yeah.
I would say it feels like a cycle. So the fact that she's noticing it, the fact that it stands out to her, that
Mm-hmm.
she needs to trust her intuition, maybe do some journaling on it and try to figure out what exactly that means to
Mm-hmm.
you, because that's a very personal type of cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is. I think it's, honestly, I would say that the timing is kind of, pretty significant because it's how exact it is, 10 years apart,
Exactly.
etc. And that happens. And that's so spirit does that sort of stuff to us, or we do that sort of stuff when we plan our lives out. There's certain points or junctures that we actually do plan. I believe in both. I believe we have our free will and there's a plan. There's a paradox there, but
Higher
so
self.
yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's there to just so that you stop and you start to look a little bit harder at maybe the spirituality behind everything, or maybe the life lesson that's there, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right. So check into it yourself. It's hard to say, but pendulums and just meditating, just feeling into it. What does it feel like, right? But what is the significance of an upside down triangle?
Doesn't that mean
Uh,
in alchemy earth?
isn't that Earth? Yeah, like up. One is up and it's water, and one has a line under it and it's
It's
fire.
an alchemical symbol. So
Yeah,
there's earth, fire, water, and air. So and there's two that are like an upside down triangle, and one is fire, and I believe one is earth, and then the upright ones would be like air and water, I
yeah.
believe. Look it up.
A
Alchemy.
quick Google search will fix that for us. But
Exactly. I mean, I
so yeah,
could, but I could Google it.
we can Google, but we don't. We're not gonna. We're not gonna. We just
It's gonna drive me
for
nuts because I used to have them memorized.
there's also circle versions of those, right? Where there's the circle with the plus sign, there's a circle with a dot, and there's a circle with one line, and the circle with the other line, right? So it's
I
same.
immediately thought of
And then
alchemy when I didn't have it.
and then the empty circle is ether or whatever. So there's also those versions.
Yeah, like kind of
But
like
yeah,
the
when you
pentagram
upside
and
down
the
triangle, that's the first thing I thought of too. Was like the etheric, the elemental symbols.
definitely elementals. And maybe look up alchemy as well. I don't know. I keep saying, keep hearing alchemy for you. So look up alchemy.
Look up alchemy symbols. Yep. Wayne loves your American accent
Oh, thank you very much,
because she's
kind sir.
because Texas is a cool accent. It's very
You
American. Am I doing a good Texas? I don't know.
did
I'm from
all right.
Canada,
Sometimes
so
you do pretty
so
good.
technically I'm American in continent. So, but
I
I'm
got
Canadian.
that Southern.
Good. The sound is better. Apparently, everybody says you're much better. We're catching up to when we changed it, so this is how far behind we are in the comments.
I know, right?
Just to remind everybody who's watching, if you haven't shared this out yet, please share this out to your favorite spiritual groups, out on your pages, that sort of thing, and invite your spiritual friends who would enjoy the show to come watch as well. We do this most Fridays at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Center time. What do we call that? Central Center time.
Central Standard Time.
Most Fridays we do it. Most Fridays, depending on health and scheduling. And yeah. That was a little
Put
spiel.
some more set. We can see your comments.
Yes, we see you. Thank you, Lynette. We are a great team. We thought that as well.
Exactly. I appreciate you.
Here's one for us. Have you ever done ghost huntings? And if so, where, and any interesting stories?
As a sensitive, I honestly, I'll start on this one. As a sensitive, I'm just really, really careful about that kind of stuff because a lot of times I find it to be almost disrespectful to the spirits if it's not done in a respectful manner. And I also find that a lot of times it's not really ghosts that people are communicating with. It's actually lower level entities that can come through. And that's what really makes me nervous when it comes to ghost hunting. I've had to do Reiki and clearing on a multitude of ghost hunters that ended up with stuff happening, poltergeist activity and stuff like that in their home. Now I would send that to Shayne. But in the past, I would help them on my own. And I ended up where some of them tried to come into my house. And
that's
they
the
were
thing.
not.
You start messing and inviting those spirits around you when you start messing around with that stuff. So it's the same. I have the same view. I'm cutting you off. I'm sorry. I have the same view as almost as the Ouija board thing that we talked about last episode. I don't want to get into the Ouija board thing again.
No.
We talk about it too much. No, it's hard.
Well, it's almost like those voice box things that are used. You just got to be really, really careful because it gives power to things that don't necessarily need that power, and then they feed off of fear.
Yeah, exactly. The one thing I do like is that thing that you can plug into your plant, and it plant plays your plant's music. I like that. That's cool.
That is cool.
That's pretty cool. But as far as ghost hunting goes, like, you don't want me to go on a ghost hunt.
You'll clear the house.
I'll shut them down. There'll be none. There'll be none left. We'll be shutting down that ghost house. There'll be no more paranormal activity there. And it won't. I won't even have to do it consciously. Spirit will work with me. And I've gone to places, cemeteries, things like that. Like, why am I here? Why did I take this wrong turn? And all of a sudden I'm in a cemetery. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm clearing a cemetery, right? Like, it's just, Spirit will do that to me from time to time. Places where darkness kind of hides or can attach to things that aren't dark, and those things that aren't dark need a little help. So I end up in places like that from time to time. But as far as going on them specifically, I've never gone on them specifically. And like Tiffany has mentioned, I have cleared some ghost hunters that have, or some, people associated with that sort of stuff in the past as well. And yeah, don't recommend.
It's one of those things. It's like, I understand the curiosity, but Shayne mentioned it earlier. Sometimes curiosity does kill the cat. So it's just that, yeah. Like I felt like when I went to New Orleans, she asked for interesting stories. When I was in Nova, that is a very active city, and I had to keep my shields up 24/7 because I had stuff trying to play with my hair. I had stuff touching me. I had orbs in the corner of my eyes. I could see the shadow over there. I was just like, ugh. Like I had to like shut it all down to be able to enjoy myself, because there is a lot of spirit activity because our worlds are so close to each other in so many ways and they overlap. And when you have like haunted ghost tours going on and stuff like that in cemeteries, it kind of just continues to open that up even more and more and more.
Well, people's construct of it, people
Soulless.
have to realize how powerful of a creator we all are individually, and then as a collective, putting that power together is multiplying it, right? So when we all believe that something is haunted, we can actually construct something in there. If we all believe in, say, like something like Candyman or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Right? If we all believe that that was real, we would actually construct that real thing with our, like it's just the way we manifest in this world. I know. Shh. Nobody's
I am weird, like in places like hospitals and stuff too. Places like that just have a lot of energy, and I've had a lot of surgeries. I've got a lot of medical stuff, and I've had to be really, really cautious and careful with myself because being put under as a sensitive, as a medium, it does make me a little bit more susceptible to things trying to hitchhike onto me. So I just always keep a vigilant shield up or a vigilant protection up, just because I don't want to be messed with. I've been messed with enough. I don't want to be messed with.
And yeah, that's the you shouldn't be opening up yourself to that, right? If there's a reason not to, then don't.
Well, and some of those also are very done in disrespectful ways in places where, like, a lot of innocence had died or things like that. And to me, that's just, I don't feel comfortable with it.
I'm going to skip ahead 2 questions because I figured this one ties in good, but we'll go back if I skipped yours, Crystal, and because this ties in the same. It's Audrey as well. Have you ever used your abilities to help the police? Because have you ever done, like on a side to ghost hunting, have you ever done stuff like, I would say, trying to find missing persons or things like that of nature? Have you ever done that, Tiffany?
No, I have not. If I were in an area maybe that were more open-minded, or if, I were approached for help, or if I had answers or something like that, I definitely would. But it's one of those things, I don't want to be like, the stereotypical lady who's like going to the police department and deemed as cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You know what I mean? So it's that fine line of like, okay, where am I supposed to help? Where am I not supposed to?
Yeah. Where do you feel? Do you feel? Sometimes it's hard because sometimes we get that ego that's like, I want to help and I can help, and we go headstrong into it, but that may not be always the best thing either. So
I've helped find missing pets. So I have done that. I did help with a murder case. I helped with a young girl and her family in discovering what had happened, and everything that came through is exactly what the police discovered. So I've done things like that, more on that personal, private level, rather than working directly with, let's say, like a department or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I have actually never worked with the police either or anything like that. Nothing official for anybody, if that's what the question is, right? So, so I just want to tie that in because I know it kind of tied in with that.
Oh, it does. It very much does.
So Crystal's asking, yellow and gold colors on stuff here and there. What do you think it is? You're turning into a fairy. It's obvious.
She's starting to see spirit. Are they sparkles? Do they kind of sparkle in the corner of your eye? Or are they more like a direct view where they're like larger type of orbs? Or is it actual where you're seeing the colors off of people? So you might be seeing some people's auric energy around them. I see auras as well, and some people do have the yellow and gold. So it just kind of depends, and it'll kind of look like a mirage. I was just talking about this with Lynette earlier. It'll kind of look like a mirage when you first start tapping into it, where it looks like almost like the heat coming off of pavement on a highway. And it'll kind of be like a shimmer. And then you start practicing with that vision and start practicing working on it. Do some third eye activities. And it'll help it to become more clear. But I'm kind of wondering if she's got like some fairies coming around, like Shayne said.
I said she's turning into a fairy.
Oh, she's turning into fae.
Are you all on now? I'm on. Are you on? I'm on.
Yeah, we're on. Hi, Hope.
All right. Marsha's asking, what is the significance of 3, specifically doing things with passion, emotion, or intense desire 3 times
Uh,
in order to get good results? Yeah. So intention is everything. So if your intention is to do something and you do whatever it is, like, something passionate or whatever it is you're passionate about, if you do the steps for that 3 times passionately, it should bring it a little closer to you, right?
it's
Manifesting
universal.
wise, right? So intention wise, if your intention is strong, it seems to happen faster, or it seems to happen more strong. So yes, to me, if you did it from a witchy standpoint, if it was something I had to do 3 times just to, because of that's the way the spell works or something like that too, there's a significance there.
Absolutely. You've got the triple goddess, you've got the triples, you've got the Trinity and the Holy Spirit, you've got
Mm-hmm.
all throughout
There's
most
lots of
of
3.
our philosophies. It's all threes. And it's that way for a reason because 3 is a powerful manifestation number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Do. That's about all I got for that one. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 is just such a powerful number. And you can look up angel number 3 and look up the significance of 3. And there's
Mm-hmm.
so much historical significance with it in every culture across humanity.
Yeah. Um, Lynetta has another question. When I was little, my angels told me as long as I laid on my back straight with nothing crossed, that's good. Don't cross your legs when you're meditating. And I say that with a grain of salt because you can sit with your legs crossed on the floor and meditate, of course. But if you're sitting in a chair, don't cross your legs, right?
Blood block
So,
energy.
yeah. To take me out of my body and I would float.
Yes.
Um,
You astral.
Astro travel. Now I find I connect to spirit better if I lay down versus sitting. Can you shed any light on this? And for me, um, I do a lot better sitting than lying down because I'm prone to falling asleep and drifting
Oh,
off and astral traveling myself and not getting my meditation done. So for me, sitting is better. But for a lot of people, lying down is better because they can get into that, what is it, the
the
alpha
theta.
state, theta
Alpha
state,
and theta.
the alpha theta state a lot better and a lot quicker from laying down. They're not as in their being. They can, like you
Well,
mentioned,
I find
float a little bit
breathing.
easier.
I find breathing sometimes like when I'm laying down, I can take some of that focus off of my body and focus more on my breath easier when I'm laying down.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps me to kind of get into that deep meditative state better.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the
Yeah.
floating is definitely astral, and that's where we all have an astral body. We all have an etheric body. And so that is accurate. And the laying down does kind of help with that just because it helps you get a little bit more relaxed sometimes. It's
Yeah.
like that, like whenever we're lucid dreaming, our mind is in our brain is subconsciously at this perfect brainwave that helps us to connect better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's
Key things from this though, back straight, like Spirit was telling her as a little girl, back straight, and that's something I always say: keep your back straight. If you even going back to like Osho and other meditation teachers, and back straight, back straight. Why? Because that's where the energy flows. It goes up and down your
the
spine,
Kundalini
right? So you
also.
want, yeah, the Kundalini energy, the Grand Meridian energy. There's more than one, right? Going up and down the spine.
Chi
So
on
back
it.
straight. And don't cross your arms, don't cross your legs, right? You want to be in that open receiving energy kind of position, hands palms up, or
Mhm,
in a mudra position or
mhm.
something, right? Um,
Also,
but
like you could also create that circuit to kind of help you with crystals. So you could use um, like amethyst in your palms. You could use
yep.
selenite, which is a great one. Clear quartz is always a go-to, and you could also help with that experience by holding crystals in your palms because it helps to up your frequency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, crystal. If you're meditating with crystals, different crystals will help you do different things in meditation too. It's worth looking up and saying, okay, well, this crystal is good for grounding, or this crystal is good for, connecting to my spirit guides, and this crystal's good for, getting in tune with my emotions, that sort of thing. So definitely
Absolutely.
look up your crystals, get to know your crystals. Crystals are wonderful, wonderful spiritual tools, and everybody
Always.
should have a crystal.
This is an apophyllite. It's Celeste. It's like, I love this one, or angelite, celestite, something like that for Lynette,
Mm-hmm.
because she is tapping in with angelic energies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good question.
Which one?
And that
Marsh?
marshmallow.
Can you explain how energy vampires and transmuting negative energies into light energy works? Also, my element is water, and sometimes I feel like my energy is raining all over me. What does that mean? You're probably a water spirit, or you connect with the water spirit, right? With
But
regards to that,
it also, we could get into starseed stuff. So it could be some of
mm-hmm.
their starseed origins. Maybe, as that light worker that you are, some of your original origins came from the different systems that are more water based,
Mm-hmm.
like Mintaka or some of those systems. And that would make sense that your energy would feel more water versus electric. And that would be the element that you would work with. And so transmuting those negative energies, like in your instance, like with water, you could just change like the flow of energy and allow it to flow
Like
out
water.
of you like water,
Yeah,
literally like water,
that's
not like
exactly what I was gonna say. Um, how energy vampires work, and there's some a lot of people actually don't even know they are an energy vampire. It
they
could
do
be
not.
that same thing. Please love me, please love me, please love me. Right? Give me some attention. That's an energy vampire. At the same time, it could be somebody who knows they're an energy vampire as well, and it could be a spirit, right? It could be just
Oh
spirit.
yeah, like an attachment of them that is working to drain your energy whenever you're around that person. So you have to
Yeah.
think: is it a person or is it an attachment to them? And I use violet flame. Violet in alchemy is all about transmutation. So you could envision violet water flowing out and around you to shield you and protect you from that energy itself, and to transmute it into light. Ask your team, ask your angels, your guides to assist you. Ask your higher self if you're connected to your higher self, and they can help with the transmuting as well.
Yeah, not everything is going to be able to be transmuted, because if it's still part of the good, right, and it's just being
Oh yeah,
influenced by something bad or something like that, they're not going to just transmute, a
no,
lost
I'm
human
talking
soul
about
that's
like
got an
attachment.
attachment on it. So what they're going to do is probably remove it, take them away, take them to go get cleaned, etc. Blah 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 blah.
Well, that's kind
Right?
of what
There's
I,
lots of different stuff.
yeah.
So when you send so I just wanted to clarify that, because we're not sending and blasting and killing everything out there. That's
Oh
darkness,
no,
right?
transmuting it
But
into light so it can go back to the universe as light. It's not getting rid of it or killing anything. It's helping to remove the lower density from it to get it back into its
exactly.
light
So
state.
the question was, can we explain how it works? Good job.
I tried.
And it's what it does. The spirit and love energy is going to do what spirit and love energy does best, and it's going to transmute the darkness back into light. And it's going to do it all on its own. You don't really have to do anything besides recognize that there's something there, send your love to it, send your intention for it to be, fixed, healed, transmuted,
And
loved.
always in the highest good for self and others.
Yeah, that's what I would say there.
Um,
Shoot water at it.
Shoe water at it. I love it. I like a super soaker. Um, I'm thinking on Crystal's question. I'm gonna
The
think on
yellow
that one.
spots. We're still trying to figure out the yellow and gold spots.
Yeah, Crystal, let me think on it, and I may message you just privately.
Maybe they're just fairy orbs.
That's what I'm wondering. She's picking up on orders through the veil because the veil is so thin. And I'm wondering how long. Like, I've got some questions I need to ask you. Like, how long
Hmm.
has it been going on? Is it in dark light? Is it in twilight? Or is it certain times of the day? So I'll message you.
Tiffany likes to spiritually investigate the fun stuff like that. It's better for that than to investigate like ghosts and things, right?
I would rather, yeah, I'd rather know, like, what's going on? Why is she seeing sparkles?
Sometimes I see like a flashing here on the same track, right? Sometimes I see like a flashing light on my left side coming from back to front. Is that possibly my guardian angel trying to get my attention?
I got a yes.
The easiest answer is mostly true. Steve says. Steve answered your question before you asked your question.
And that's called Occam's razor. So it's usually the easiest answer. Good job.
Yes. Also, ringing in the ears can be that as well.
Their
Sometimes
audience.
flashes of white. Now, if you see flashes of dark, you should probably book a house clearing with me, right? Like if you start seeing dark shadows and things out of the corner of your eye,
That's what I saw as a kid sometimes, and that was not good. So yes, like
you
if
can
it's
feel it. And if it feels creepy, chances are it's going to be creepy, right? If it feels like light and it feels like, a fairy or like an angel or something, you can tell. You can tell that's like it's light. And you see it out of the corner of your eye, like, oh, I saw a flash. Like they're describing a
so you'll
light
feel love.
flash. I see dark flashes, but they're not like they're shadow, like a shadow. And you're like, what the heck was that? Oh, I thought it was my cat, but it's not my cat. What did I
Check
just
in your
see,
heart
right?
space.
If you start seeing that stuff, maybe book a house clearing with me, or at least a tarot reading or a mediumship reading with Tiffany to find out what's going on. For those things, by the way, all the links are in our link trees. You can message Tiffany directly for readings as well because her stuff is broken and not really working at the
Okay, now we're good.
moment, which is sad. But oh well, she's very, very friendly, and you can just message her anyways. And yeah, head to the link tree to find all of our links for everything else. Tiffany has a website. I have a YouTube channel. We've got TikToks. We've got Instagrams and all the stuff there, right? So head over to those, click on those, follow us on all the different places, share all the cool stuff out with all your friends because sharing is caring. And yeah. I also like to say thank you to everybody who's asked questions so far. I love that you participate with us in the show, and it really doesn't happen without you guys. So thank you so much for your wonderful questions.
I like this one. I love my crystal ball.
So does my
It's
roommate.
right here.
My roommate has a crystal ball, and she
Yeah,
loves it too.
I love it. It helps me for clarity. And it's not so much, that the crystal ball itself is doing it. It's just a tool. And it's a tool I use with my clairvoyance. If I'm not seeing something clearly, I'll tune in and gaze at my crystal ball. You can do flame gazing. You can do, things like that, like gaze at your own eyes in the mirror, that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah.
Can
Can you bring out bad energy with a crystal ball? Love, hope.
It depends on,
Says.
well, I guess it depends on what angle you're going at. I mean, if you're of light and you are gazing at it with love and you're gazing at your crystal ball for highest good, then you're not going to get bad energy. But if it's like
Yeah.
someone like, like you envision like with a cloak on in a dark room and they're like, looking at the ball and they're like trying to spy on somebody, that'd be kind of nefarious. So I would say that'd be bad energy.
Intention is everything, and make sure you do your protection
Palo Santo, y'all.
before you do any sort of divinity work or anything, calling on spirit for protection, setting your protective circle, clearing your space. Do the actual work. A lot of people are not doing the work. They're just going, okay, well, let's set this up, and yes, please help me, God. Show me some spirits coming through this fancy tool I found, right?
Ew, I wouldn't want that.
Exactly. Right. So you got to do the things properly. If you don't know how to do the things properly, head over to Tiffany's group the Modern Mystic group, there
Yes.
are tons of how-tos and information on spirituality. It's probably the best organized
Thank you.
spiritual group that I've seen on Facebook so far. So make sure you're part of the Modern Mystic
The
Facebook group.
guides have
There's
all
guides.
kinds of
She's
answers.
organized it. She's OCD'd that thing right up. And now everything has hashtags and topics, and you can find everything.
There is even a whole article on crystal balls in there. So you
There's
can
a
just
whole
search
article
a Modern Mystic crystal ball, and it'll come up for you.
on crystal balls.
Yeah, straight up.
You know what's funny about crystal balls? Is this is like the first time I get to say crystal balls online. And it'll actually say that crystal balls. Because I say crystal bowls a lot and it says crystal balls
That makes sense.
on the closed captioning. Like crystal balls.
Oh, that's a good question from Audrey. Audrey has some really great questions. She asked, "You're right there with me."
Next question.
Angels are so beautiful. And angels to me can be orbs and sparkles around people. Angels also are like a ray of light. And so when I work with like Archangel Michael, I work with his blue light, his blue flame. Or if I'm working with Archangel Zadkiel, it's a violet flame. And I do see the colors, and I see them in my mind eye astrally. And sometimes I do see them like physically around people. So absolutely, angels are beings of light, and that's the way they present themselves to us most often, or in my experience.
Mm-hmm. I don't see them. I just see I just feel them.
You
I don't
see,
know.
yeah, you see stuff though. You underestimate some of that because you see the light stuff.
I have to like tap in and like meditate.
Yeah, but you still see it.
Mm-hmm. You guys can ask me questions and be like, how many wings does my angel have? And I'll tap in claircognizantly, but I won't actually see the wings. You know what I mean?
I'll see it. I'll see them, or I'll get claircognizance to clear knowing.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'll see 4 wings, or I'll see 6 wings or 8 wings, and then you kind of know like which level that angel is depending on how many wings they have. And their wings aren't like feathered wings; like their wings are light rays, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The way I see them, they're like energetic light around them in the shape of wings. Some people have them. Earth angels, a lot of people have them actually.
When I talk to spirit, who do I talk to? I've been trying to figure out ones to use like God and Goddess. So that's a big question, actually.
That's a huge question, Hope. Hope and I message sometimes, so you can message me if you want to. I kind of wrestled with that one as well. I was raised very, very Southern Baptist Christian, but I always knew that there was an aspect that was missing to me, that Mother God aspect. So, or like, Mother Earth. Earth was always feminine to me, or Gaia. I could always feel that energy. And so for me, it kind of depends on what I'm doing, but I work a lot with Holy Spirit. And to me, the Holy Spirit comes through as feminine, but then you also have the masculine aspect as well. So it kind of depends on your background. What's your background? What do you feel comfortable with as far as spiritually reaching out? I work with my ancestral lines as well. Like I work with Freya and Odin. I work with Bridget, with the Celtic line.
Do you connect with Norse energy? Do you connect with Egyptian energy?
Exactly.
What do you feel? Where do you feel the energy going? I mean, for me, I used to just connect straight to source energy, universal life energy, God, whatever you want to call it. More recently,
both.
More recently I connect with angels, I connect with Raphael, and like you were just saying about the blue energy of Michael, I use the emerald energy of Raphael, right? So it all depends on where you feel, that for you.
Yeah, where you call, do some research on it. In Modern Mystic in the group, there's a lot of information as well on working with deities. And so you can go and you can look in the guides in there, and there's tons of articles.
There you go. Back to the group.
Back to the group. There's a wealth of info. For about a year and a half, I worked on that thing, putting all that together. So
I know there's a lot of work in it. That's why I keep telling people to go there.
Thank you.
Uh,
I always wonder if people look at it. I'm like, it's there.
so, Tiffany, this is a question for you because you used to teach children. So I'm going to give you that. Throw this over to you.
Diana. Hi,
How
beautiful.
do you have any tips for helping a 10-year-old start journaling and clearing energy and starting into manifesting? Now, kids are usually generally really good at manifesting. Um, when they want something for Christmas, they tend to get it. You know what
Affirmations.
I
There are
mean?
online, Diane, I can send you some. I came across, in
Mhm.
fact, just recently, like, maybe it's for you. I came across some kids' affirmations, and it's all about like manifesting with the positive affirmations, the law of attraction. And that would be really great. Journaling, a lot of times for 10-year-olds, they like to draw. And so, if he, or is he more of a writer? It kind of depends up to him. But
Mhm.
he could do like, not like a dear diary, but like a daily journal, like a reflection journal or a dream journal. If he has a lot of dreams, you could do a dream
Yeah.
journal.
For the second part, clearing energy, for kids, what I typically get them to do is ground because their connection with Mother Earth is usually pretty strong, and we get them to do either the visualization of growing tree roots into the ground, or we get them to feel how heavy they are on the ground, or we get them to use kind of a more of a tactile
Mm-hmm.
perception of energy work at that stage. So even younger kids, we would start with breathing and we'd start with like a finger in front of the nose and going, does it feel hot or cold? And getting them to feel into it, and feeling connects them to the breathing, and then that connects them into the meditation, right? So from a 10-year-old that's a little bit older, like I'm talking like 4, 5, 6 year old, we're doing the breathing. From a 10-year-old perspective, now we can start to get them to visualize things. We can start to
Yeah.
get them to visualize breathing in golden energy and breathing out gray energy. These simple ones with like breathe in a cloud of gold, breathe out a cloud of gray,
There's a
right?
deck.
These simple things are going to help them. And go ahead, Tiffany.
There's a deck of cards that does exactly what you're talking about. And it's exercises for kids for
Mm-hmm.
meditation. And the ones that Shayne's talking about are actually in that deck of cards. Diana, I'll send you the link, but it's like, meditation cards for kids on Amazon or something like that. Because kids are great, like Shayne said, when it comes to grounding with earth, and they're great with visualizing
Yeah.
color. And they can naturally learn how to shield and do bubbles of protection for anxiety and stuff like that, like color therapy type. Um, Easy, like with the snap of fingers, they can do it.
And if you like you and you're doing things like smudging and stuff already at the house, get them
They can help.
involved in that. Get them
Yeah.
to start smudging their own room. If you're comfortable with them having burning embers and things like that, right? Of course, up to you and your child in your situation, of course.
I had an
Um,
8-year-old with me for a while, and she loves Palo Santo. And
mhm.
she would do the prayers, and she would do like Christian prayers, and we looked them up, and she would do Christian prayers for cleansing, some Native American type of smudging because of some of her ancestry. And that little girl can read cards. That little girl can shield. She can ground, and she's great at it. She's a little
there
empath.
there is tarot cards as well for children, right? So if that's
Oh yeah,
something that interests your child, um, tarot cards for children.
they have good
There's
ones.
there's other things I've seen at some of those spiritual shops too for kids. There's books. There's other types of cards I've seen as well that have like geometry and
Oh yeah.
more like less. I hate to say it, less girly. You know what I
Sacred
mean?
geometry. We're not talking fairy cards here. We're talking
Yeah,
masculine sacred
yeah,
geometry cards.
geometry cards and stuff like that. So depending on your kid, right? And there are some designed specifically for kids, so that
There's
helps
some
them
good
tap
ones.
into manifesting. I think there's even I remember seeing ones that were for helping emotions and things like that, right?
There are.
There's tons of different stuff for
Or you
that.
can even make your own. I had a friend that made her own for her kiddo before there were that many that were available. And It was fairy tales. It was fairy tale characters with life lessons.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot. There's a lot you can do. I'm going to brainstorm on this, Diana, and I'm going to message you.
Hi, Ashley from YouTube.
Hi, Ashley.
Let me take a moment to say hi to everybody. Hello, Chris. Hello, Yesenia. I see a few new people. Diana, of course. Steven, hello. Who else is
Douglas. Got a Douglas.
Danielle. Good day, Danielle. Good evening, Danielle.
Oh, Douglas.
Everybody's talking about numbers here in the chat, and we're missing it. Everybody's talking about numbers. What do the numbers mean? Angel numbers, look them up. There's tons of resources for looking in Google. Just Google the numbers that you're seeing. Same thing for you, Danielle. Right? Oops.
I did the same
thing. What is the universe trying to tell you?
I Google it. I Google.
You know, like Google those numbers if you would like. The key number there is the number 7, so I would go straight to see what number 7 is, but because you're getting 27, 37, 47, 57, right? Like, I don't know. What do these mean?
Google them. They're synchronicities. They are universe numbers, and angel numbers is what we call them. 1111 is the major wake up number. So that is like a light worker spiritual awakening number that all of us have seen over and over and over again. 222s, 333s, all of those. And when they're in synchronicities of 3s like that or 4s, you can look them up. I'm seeing here, Marshmallow said that he has a sprite. They have a sprite that left froggy footprints. I absolutely love it. And with the veil so thin right now, those that are connected to the Fae are really, really seeing a lot more Fae. So go out in nature also. Or if the sprite is in your home, Shayne will tell you, leave fruit, apples.
We leave lots of, whenever I'm making food, I have a little spot in my kitchen with a nice little dish for them. And they can have, cut bits of fruit and things and vegetables. And they really like my sourdough bread. When I make sourdough bread, they love it.
I for a brownie. I had a brownie in one of my houses.
They like sugar, yeah.
That one was a little bit mischievous at first because I wasn't acknowledging it. And so it was taking all my crystals and hiding them. And I thought it was my cats at first. And I was missing jewelry. I was missing bracelets. I was missing like my favorite crystal. And I was like, what is going on? And I found little stashes like behind the shelves or like up on a shelf or with all my stuff, like all neatly like put in a little pile. And I was like, oh.
It's definitely not cats. So I definitely not cats. What a strange life we lead. Eh? When you start tapping into spirituality and they're like, hey, we can tap in with this lady. Let's play with her stuff. She's not listening to me. I'm going to take her bracelet.
Take my bracelet. And it would be like, I would know that I put my stuff right next to the sink, like where I always put it. And it'd be like a whole pile of jewelry and be like gone. And I was like, whoa, what is going on? And it would be like, up on a shelf somewhere where I would never have put it, and I was just like, okay, man, you're messing with me. And I did set a little trap, not a trap. I can't call it a trap. I investigated because I'm a nerd. And under my milk and honey, I put flour. And I put flour around it. I put it up high where the cats wouldn't be able to get into it. And sure enough, overnight, the next day, there were little footprints and little handprints and stuff from where the Fae came and got their treat. So you can always test that too. Kind of like the little froggy footprints on the leg.
Yeah.
It's legit.
Can test it. Lynette had another question here. In regards to self-hypnosis, I would see... I would wake up convulsing seizures I would see myself reaching for my headphones to remove them, but they wouldn't come off. Was this because I was partially out of my body? Once I finally got control back, I was extremely weak and I wouldn't be able to move for a few minutes. This has always been a question I never had an answer to. So I'm going to move that off my face so we can see my face because...
She was astraling and one of the ways, I know sometimes I will, when I'm really astraling and I'm not careful, I will fall into my body. And when I fall into my body, like in a
You
meditation,
told me that before, actually. I remember you talking about that.
I was like, I jerk, you know, and I'll jerk from my meditation because it's like I crash landed kind of. And so that kind of thing happening, like the leg convulsion, stuff like that, if you're deep in meditation and you're not asleep, it's not like a sleep paralysis, it's not like restless leg syndrome, it's not a medical condition. It is legit that your awareness is partially in your body and out of your body, and then you're having to reacclimate to being in body. Like Shayne has seen me wake up before, and I astral travel all over the place when I'm sleeping. And I am like here, but not here at first, because it's like I have to remember who I am.
Sometimes it just takes, everybody's a little bit different. Some people snap right back in, like me. I'm like, wham, I'm back. And
Not
it's
me.
like, other people, it takes a minute. I know some people fall down if they're standing up. You know, like
Yeah,
there's all
I have
kinds
to
of
be
stuff
like
going
laying
on.
down or sitting down. I can't do it standing. There's no way. And use grounding. I use grounding crystals. So I'll use like black tourmaline. I'll use hematite, obsidian to kind of help with that grounding energy to help bring me back. I'm trying to think. She must have really been in deep meditation to experience that. So that means that she is getting that
just
great state.
most of the time our awareness blips when we come back in, right? Because we switch our awareness to being in our body awareness instead of having that awareness go through while the transition's happening. So sometimes we get caught into that transition. It's kind of like, whoa, what the heck just happened? Because we're used to being blipped out for that. You know what I mean? Like when we come back from dreamland and we wake up in the morning, we're like, and we feel our pillow and we're like, oh, we're back
Shoot. I'm like, ugh.
in. But, right, the opposite can be also true. Where you're just like, wham, whoa, what happened? Right? And sometimes that's me. Woo, whoa.
Whoa. And that could also
But,
be a lot of that happened when I was very ungrounded too. So
mm-hmm.
the more grounded I've become and the more I've learned to ground easier, the easier it is for me to transition in meditation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to be grounded.
Shayne, will you be hosting another energy clearing workshop soon? Yes. Actually, I was just talking to my roommate about that this morning. And I'm going to be revamping a little bit. It's probably not going to be till like the first week of December, but it's going to go up soon. I'm probably going to get it up probably Monday, hopefully by Monday. And yes, I will be doing another energy clearing workshop.
And we're working on, expanding our platform. So like starting to do more like a Udemy or a Teachable. We're exploring different platforms for like Shayne with his workshops or me with my Reiki. That way it's more accessible. It's easier.
Yeah. So things are coming. Lots of stuff is in the works.
Yes.
And
Transition.
Exciting times. Marsh has another super long question.
Sweet.
Ooh, sorry. Excuse me.
So I'm reading it here. Also, I'm connected in a sacred union with my soulmate, and I hear her telepathically, but I don't know where she is. So for star seeds, I don't know. Like a star seeds. Okay, like star seed body markings. I don't know which one I am, but I am a yellow being, and my aura is purple, and I'm also a wolf. I'm going through so much awakening, and I appreciate so much being able to talk to you guys. Thank you so much. Aw. I hear her. It's like she's in a distance and she's muffled when she talks. Have you like specifically meditated on connecting to your soulmate and connect through your heart space? So like connect to that feeling of unconditional love and connect that way, through meditation telepathically.
Mm-hmm. Same answer for this question.
Oh, did I just answer another one?
It's still him. It's another question of his. How do you connect to your past lives? You can also do a mediumship reading with Tiffany.
Yeah, reach out to me. I can help you with a lot of this. And I teach psychic development as well. You're more than just clairsentient, by the way, because you have telepathy too. So you've got some clear cognizance there. It's just a matter of knowing what you're picking up and the discernment to know the difference. And tapping into your ancestry. So just shoot me a message, and I'm going to write your name down as well. You can just message me on Modern Mystic, and I'll check it. I'm pretty good about it. Lynette will tell you I do respond. It might take me a little bit sometimes, but I do respond.
I've seen how many messages you get sometimes, so it's okay to take some time.
I got to weed through them, but I'll know like the name, like Marshmallow.
Love you too, love Hope.
Oh, such a sweetheart. I love you.
Audrey asks, so when you were born with a lot of gifts and you asked for them to please stop, is there any way to get them back? Yes. Yeah. Ask for them to come back.
Well, and work with energy. So it's a little bit, yeah, you got to have like that wanting of getting them back and work through the blocks that you created in the first place that shut them down. So like, why would you shut them down in the first place? And are those things still there in your life that caused you to shut them down? That's the first thing. Because it's kind of that emotional block that we put up. And then do energy work. You need to start working on, like Shayne was talking about, meditation, breathing in light, exhaling gray, breathing in love, exhaling anything heavy.
And then the spiritual muscles. That's what you have to do. And then
start learning the different kinds of gifts. So that way you can learn which ones you had and which ones you can work on to strengthen them. And you can go Modern Mystic in the guides.
Will you be, speaking of, I had a question about my energy clearing workshop. I have a question for you. Will you be doing another mentorship program?
I'm going back and forth on this. Right now, I'm kind of mentoring just more one-on-one again, rather than doing like a big group. I'm just working with people one-on-one. So I'm kind of revamping that as well. The big group worked well, but then you end up with people and their personality differences that can cause some issues. So I'm revamping, but I am doing mentoring still. I have like about 7 people I'm still working with. I can add, who was that? Audrey. Audrey, if you'd like, I can add you to my Facebook group that I created for mentoring. And it's got all this stuff in the guide sections that you can look at.
Lynette's question, the next one. She's always been able to connect with angels via goosebumps. It's how she knows she's on the right track, and she also gets like jerks. So sometimes body jerks. If your body turns one way, it's like a no. If it turns the other way, it's a yes. That sort of stuff. But they have no idea what they're trying to communicate. Any thoughts? And for me, the same kind of answer applies. You have to do the meditating. You have to work the spiritual muscle and start connecting that way. Because when you feel the goosebumps and you know you're on the right track, yes, you're on the right track. Okay, now what?
That's her impact ability. So that's her ability. She needs to strengthen with that.
So how do we get the communication involved? How do you start communicating to your guides while you start listening? I don't know. How do you say that?
You need a pendulum.
You need a pendulum. You need a tool that helps work that spiritual muscle, right? So get a pendulum, whatever it's called, and pendulum's super easy to use, super easy to learn. Tiffany has pendulum stuff on her Modern Mystic stuff. Group.
A lot of lessons. And Lynette's in that mentoring group I mentioned. So Lynette, just search in that mentoring group pendulum, and there's tons of information there. And you can also kind of use your heart space as your pendulum as well. You can, if something feels heavy or feels uncomfortable, if it causes you anxiety, that would be like a no. If something feels light, loving, that would be your yes. So you can do like yes, no questions.
Yeah, pendulum will work that spiritual muscle. You'll start to get answers to the questions before the pendulum gives them to you, and then you'll start to get more answer instead of just yes and no, right? So keep doing it. At the beginning, when I started pendulum, I was getting yes and no, yes and no, yes and no, and nothing was happening claircognizant-wise or clairvoyant-wise or anything. Nothing was happening for a long time. But keep doing it, because eventually, all of a sudden, you're like, oh, it's so subtle. I wasn't listening. Oh.
All of a sudden, you're doing it, you didn't even realize it. And you're like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah. So keep working the spiritual muscle, because every time you work the spiritual muscle, it's like any other muscle. The muscle gets bigger and stronger, and eventually you'll be able to do a full pull-up, a spiritual pull-up, right?
I love
And
it.
talk to
I love
spirit.
it. Great metaphor.
Lynette's also extremely interested in past lives, but don't know how to find out. Do you get
Oh,
visions about clusters I can't put together? So another thing you can do is talk to Tiffany.
yeah, I have ideas. I have ideas like ding, 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 ding. And I just had a friend of mine do my starseed origin chart based
Oh,
on my astrology. And it is so cool. Like I always knew which kind of star systems I connected to, like as far as starseed wise, but this was like according to my birth chart. And I'm still studying through that. It's amazing.
cool.
Rachel does it.
Rachel does it.
Uh-huh.
Rachel, are you in the chat, Rachel?
Rachel, are you here?
I saw her name earlier, but I didn't see her chatting. Stephanie is in serious need of your help, Tiffany. She must book a reading with you.
Okay.
So I'm just
Absolutely.
going to plug Tiffany. Tiffany's super awesome. If you're asking these sorts of questions, that's a book with Tiffany question.
Just send me a message, Stephanie.
Yeah.
I can do a Lenormand reading for you. Lenormand is a type of card reading. It's a little bit different than from tarot. I did one for Shayne, and it's still coming true.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, love readings, Lenormand. Tiffany has a couple of different awesome Lenormand decks to choose from, and she has all the cards, and she's super good at it. So book in with her and tip her well, because she's worth every penny. Especially for you, Ginny, as well. If you're looking to find out about that stuff, that's definitely a tarot reading with Tiffany.
mhm. Yeah, Jenny, that would be, or a pendulum. We could do some pendulum stuff with you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
My cat will
wow.
rock on the house, crying for me if I leave our room all the time. Is that normal? Do your cats do anything weird like that?
Their
My
cat.
cat, I have one sleeping on the bed over there. So,
That's your familiar, Audrey. That is your little spirit animal protector.
mhm. They do weird things.
They do. They always know where you're at, too. They're nosy.
And they heal. And cats are one of the only animals that you can actually see meditating,
They
because they will
meditate.
not be sleeping; they'll be meditating. It's strange,
And
but it's true.
their purr is a healing frequency that helps
Yeah.
heal our energy. So if they sleep on you and purr, they're healing you while they're doing so. Like there's been
Mm-hmm.
scientific studies on it.
Yep. Once again, book with Tiffany. How do I connect with my husband who just passed? Definitely talk to a medium like Tiffany or like
Or
my roommate
Celeste.
Celeste. Celeste might be the one for you on this one.
Yeah, if I can't
Um,
help Debbie Celeste, I would refer her to Celeste. But it also kind of depends on how recent. So
mhm.
that would be some questions we'd have to talk about first.
Message her on Facebook Messenger if you can connect with her there.
Yeah,
Um,
just shoot me
do,
a
do, do.
message on Modern Mystic.
Oh, your phone did that
The weird thing?
the volume thing again, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because we're almost done. We only have a couple questions left, and then we're going to be logging off because we've been on for an hour and a half now. Do you have a link to those people that did your thing? Rachel, are you in the chat? Rachel,
Did
Rachel
that,
will
did
hopefully.
Lynette ask?
No, Tabby is asking.
Tabby's asking. Message me and I can hook you up with my close friend that does those readings. She's amazing
Mm-hmm.
and she sends so much information.
And it's Tabby's first time here. Welcome, Tabby. We're just
Welcome.
ending the show. We're just getting to the end. One last question here from Ginny. She has a few pendulums, but doesn't seem to be connecting. I've tried cleansing them. Any ideas?
It could be the type of crystal or the type of pendulum she's using. She's not connecting with that specific one. So, little trick. I used to sleep with mine underneath my pillow to connect to it.
There you go. So
Swear by it.
pick the one pendulum that you feel connected to the most. Throw that under your pillow tonight. Sleep with it. Tomorrow morning, do your usual clearing of the pendulum, and try it out. See how
And
it
make sure
connects.
you're programming it. So like with me, I don't know, all my pendulums are actually in the living room because that's where I was doing the last reading. But hold your pendulum in front of you and ask it like does Shane have brown hair? And it will give you an answer. That would be like your yes. Does Shane have
Calibrating.
blonde hair? It will give you an answer. That would be a no. It could be a circle. It could
Yeah.
be, there's no right or wrong way. It depends on you. And then get your yes no baseline and then try it because that helps connect you and program you to your pendulums.
Definitely do that. It's calibrating it.
Yes.
I always ask for only the highest
Highest
spirit to
good.
come through for the highest good, and all those answers to be only of the highest good, etc. So do your little spiel. Make sure it's a
Just to protect yourself.
yeah. And if you're still having trouble, light a candle, and then try it. Right, like make sure you're clearing your space.
Candles. Always.
Always have a candle lit. Mine's back there.
I know. You got yours lit too.
So that brings us to the end of the show. So thank you all for joining us on this wonderful show tonight. Thank you everybody to share this out, and I don't know if anybody sent any stars, but if you sent any stars our way, thank you as well. We like that stuff as well. Hopefully everybody got their question answered and we didn't miss any. I don't think so. It doesn't look like it.
I hope not.
And thank you for all your questions, because without the questions, the show doesn't work. It's just me and Tiffany chit-chatting. I guess that would work. We're pretty cool, I guess.
We're pretty cool. We're cool. We are. We got a cool edge.
Spiritual edge.
A spiritual edge. We got this.
So you can probably find us again next week, same time, same place. If not next week, the week after. So check back on the Fridays. We do most Fridays, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. I know it's a little bit late, but some of us have to have dinner and there's other stuff going on. So, sorry. It's okay. It's time for spiritual nighttime, right? Friday night, spiritual night. And definitely book in with Tiffany if that's something that resonates with you and you're looking for some answers. If you have issues with darkies and attachments and negative energies and things like that, come see me. All my links are in the link tree at the bottom of the screen or in the video descriptions. All of our links are there. All Tiffany's links are also on her link tree. If you're looking for a reading, though, do message her directly.
Yeah,
here
just
on
message me
Facebook.
directly.
And yeah, thank you everybody for a super wonderful show, and thank you Tiffany as well for a super wonderful show. And let's just log off and say goodbye.
Good night, everybody. Y'all have a
Bye
great
everybody.